gentlemen, boys and girls, geeks and freaks of all ages, please welcome Jewel Staite.
Hi. I had no idea you were going to introduce me right away. We were like having a full-on conversation about tarantulas in the hallway, and then I just heard Jewel say, and the door opens, and I was like, anyways, hello.
Sorry.
It caught me by surprise, love.
My apologies.
So I don't really have much of a voice. I mean, I do in real life. I can't shut up, but for some reason, I got this cold a few days ago, and my voice completely disappeared yesterday. So I'm sorry I sound like Joe Pesci. But that's what's happening. Thank you.
So, obviously we have a few folks that want to ask you some questions, but before we get started to that, I'm really interested in what you're doing right now. What have you been doing recently?
Nothing. I had a good year. I did a show called The Killing. Yeah, we did season 3, and Netflix actually just picked it up, which is really exciting. And then I did a Christmas movie called The Christmas Ornament, and it just aired, I think, last weekend on the Hallmark Channel. And they have a tendency of re-airing their holiday movies. I did one that they air every year now, and right before I shot it, I got like the worst haircut of my life. And then I filmed the movie, so now this like horrible haircut is just gonna live in history every year at Christmas
the gift
time.
that keeps on giving.
Oh yeah, really humiliating. So yeah, watch out for that, The Christmas Ornament on the Hallmark Channel. And then I also did this really weird project. It's called State of Sin, and it's basically like it's sort of like Sin City in a way. It's animated, but what they did was we went against a green screen, and they took pictures of us doing certain motions. Like we would play out a line just with our face, and they go click, 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 and take a bunch of pictures of it, and then they set all of these thousands of pictures in motion to become animated. So it's going to be, I think it is an app now for iPhone, so look it up. And it has its own YouTube channel. It's called State of Sin, and David Hewlett's in it too, and he plays like a super bad guy.
Very cool.
Yeah, man. And I get to kick ass and stuff. It's awesome.
Very nice. Good stuff. You want to go to questions?
Sure.
Hello, sir.
Oh my God, that was so scary. What was that?
They're doing some really weird stuff over there. We've asked
really
for
weird.
security to intervene, but
Okay.
I don't know.
Security. Hello.
Hi. I am I haven't seen. I've seen Serenity. I'm just starting to see Firefly.
Whoa.
But I'm about to be egged over here.
You're gonna
I'm
encourage
about to
a
be
lynch
egged and
mob,
kicked out here in a
bro.
second. But I am a big diehard Stargate fan, and I've lived it from the minute the movie came out to the first series. And
So you've seen about 1 million episodes of Stargate, then.
I have.
Wow.
The thing is, with Atlantis, I was so disappointed that it ended the way it did and never came out with the movie they were supposed to come. So my question is, what's your thought about the process, how it ended? And also, my second question is, if you had to pick any actor or actress you could work with, who would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one. Your first question, I kind of agree with you. I think it did end rather abruptly. I'm not sure what the plan was in the writer's room in terms of how they were going to continue the story, but it did feel like it needed some sort of continuation. I know there was talk of the movie floating around, but there was this whole business, I don't know if you heard, but MGM went bankrupt, basically. So that's why the franchise sort of died off, from what I hear. But never say never. I mean, if these things have an audience, which they clearly do, they do have a tendency of bringing them back at some point. So I would definitely be game. And then your second question, I'm so obsessed with American Horror Story. and I think this season is the best season they've done. I really do. I'm so obsessed. It's not as dark as Asylum, which I kind of like. It's a little lighter. It's a little fun. It's kind of True Bloody in a way. And I think Jessica Lange is phenomenal, and I want to be her when I grow up. If I could work with her, I would just die a very happy girl. So that's my one, Jessica Lange.
Good
She replaced Meryl Streep for me, guys. It's big.
Okay. If Firefly had continued, where did you anticipate Joss Whedon bringing your character, or where would you have liked to have seen your character gone? What would you like to have seen happen, aside from, of course, more time with Simon?
That's what I was going to say. I always have said that I thought Kaylee and Simon should have a baby. Just because I think having a baby on the ship would change things in a pretty dramatic way. I'd love to see Mal interact with a baby, and the stakes would be kind of higher, and like Jane would be this, very loving uncle to me. Like, I don't know. I think it would change the dynamic so much. And the other thing, I just would like to live. I think anybody who works with Joss is like flipping to the end of the script like, I'm still around, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
Thank
hope
you.
feel better.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Obviously, I love you from Firefly. My first thoughts when I saw that Firefly was coming out was, one, it's Joss Whedon, so I have to watch it. Two, that's that girl from my childhood. And I feel like growing up, I watched you as a child actress grow up. So what was your favorite character that you played as a child actress when
As
you
a
were
child?
a child? And you were my 6th grade art inspiration from
Oh.
Space Cases. We had to make
Oh.
a mask, and I had all the rainbow hair and stuff.
Amazing.
So,
Space Cases was fun. Imagine you're 12 years old. You're one of the stars of a TV show with a bunch of kids your age. You get to play these fun, funky aliens with superpowers. There's a craft service table just off to the side of the set with candy and pizza and shit. Like, it's unbelievable, okay? So I'm like, oh, like I'm playing make-believe, and it was super fun. Flash Forward was a really good one, though, for me. It was a good experience. I felt like I kind of changed from child actor to adult actor in a way. Ben Foster and I were extremely tight. He was my first boyfriend. He was my first love. We ended up like dating for 3 years after the show. So like it really changed my life in a lot of ways. But just to say, child actors get a bad rap, and unfortunately, sometimes when they get a little bit older, they have money in their pocket and very irresponsible parents who aren't looking after them properly, I think, in my opinion, and keeping them grounded. And, they go off the rails a little bit. But for the most part, it's a great life. And, my parents didn't force me into it or anything like that. I adored it. I've always adored what I do for a living. And I think it taught me a lot about work ethic and being professional, and sort of prepared me for the life that I'm living now. So I'm very, very grateful for it, and I had a really good childhood.
thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Mine is more of just like a thank you for portraying Kaylee the way that you did and the way that Joss wrote her, and that she was very earthy, she was very down to earth, she was very natural, but she liked having sex.
Yeah.
And so,
Of course she did. Who doesn't?
exactly. So I just, I guess I'm gonna say like, just thanks for being like that character, that, short, adorable little girl that you're not a sex pot, but you enjoy like having that sex positivity. So that was just like a game changer, I think, for me when I was younger. I don't really know how to segue this into a question, but did you feel that like the way that Kaylee was written, like by Joss, that was a very like natural extension of like a way to portray her, is just like that's natural. So that's why
Yeah, I mean, when you have a writer like Joss who has formulated these characters so specifically before you even start the job, it's very easy. What we had to do, I mean, we just kind of had to show up, and it never felt like a tremendous amount of work for me. It just felt very natural, like you said. The dialogue was very natural for us, and our relationships were, I mean, it was scary how fast they were formed. He has this great knack for bringing casts together that just mesh really well. And he's very specific in his vision of what he wants and who he wants, and he doesn't stop until he finds it. And, you know, a good example of that is with Morena. She was the last person cast, and we had another actress that was playing the role. And we shot a scene with her, and Joss he instinctually said, "This doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right. I don't think she's in aura." And in a very wild hurry, we changed the schedule and we started shooting things that didn't have an aura in the scene. And he did another casting session, and Morena walked in the door and got the job immediately. She read, and he said, "This is who I was waiting for," and brought her down to the set. And Morena was like, "What the hell is going on?" And he was like, "This is your new family." And we were like, "Hi, Morena," and she was like, "What is happening?" And got her into wardrobe, and she was shooting the next day. It was instantaneous. Can you imagine being her and being like, "Oh my God, my life just changed"? But yeah, and then it felt like a unit. Felt like a natural unit.
Thank you.
And it's funny because I've heard her tell that version of the
Yeah.
story, and you pretty much just nailed it because she was just like, "What is
Yeah.
going on?"
Well, she was in shock when she walked on set. She was like, "What?" And we'd been shooting for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So we all knew each other really well. And, you know, Nathan was like the class clown, and, you know, yeah. Shocking, right? Yeah. But yeah, and then it just felt so natural. And we were all so close. Like, that's crazy to have that happen. I mean, I've done a lot of shows, and it's so rare that the entire cast loves each other. I mean, really, like, it is. Like, you're people, you know, and you work together, and some people you mesh with and some people you don't. But that one, I don't know. It was just total magic from the beginning. Too good to be true.
I know a lot of actors say that, but I'm blessed in that I've had the privilege of sitting backstage with them before and after Q&A panels and listening to them cut up, and they're like older brothers and sisters to
Yes.
each other. I mean, there's
Yeah.
poke, poke, poke,
And
poke.
we're all still really tight. I mean, I had dinner with Sean a week ago. He was in town. He's shooting something. I can't say what. I was sworn to secrecy. But yeah, text him all the time. And Nathan, my boyfriend, and I went to his house in LA a few weekends ago, and we did all the haunted houses. Because like we're haunted house freaks, and LA has the best haunted houses. Like they just go off because everyone's an actor, right? So they have these like interactive haunted houses where you go in and there's just they expect you to improv, and it was super, super fun. But yeah, and Alan was there, so me and Nathan and Alan running through a haunted house, and Macaulay Culkin was there, but that's a whole other story. That's the thing with Nathan. Nathan has the weirdest friends. Like, he'll be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna invite a friend. Is that cool?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And then it's like Macaulay Culkin and Seth Green, and I'm like, "Why are you friends with these people?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you know the game Mafia? You guys played Mafia? It's a fun party game if you haven't played it." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "So funny. I was at this, my friend's house party the other weekend playing Mafia with Antonio Banderas, and da-da-da." And I'm like, "What?" I don't know where he meets these people. But his, like, phone book must be crazy. Sorry. Hi.
It's okay. It's all right. One of my favorite things is how you portrayed Kaylee as a mechanic, because usually mechanics are always diet characters or super hardcore and stuff like that. But I liked how you took and went cutesy with it, but not too cutesy. You were adorable, but you also knew what you were doing. Is like the scene with the other mechanic, and you were just there, and you're like
fly
underneath
right out of
the
the
thing.
sky.
You're underneath there, and you're like, no, that's not the problem. It's this, this, and this. And I was like, yes, that's awesome. That's like, I love working on cars and stuff, and people are always like, "Oh, you're a gearhead, you're dyke, blah blah blah." It's like, no, I like guys too.
You're like, I just like cars.
Yeah, and one of my questions is, though, for auditioning purposes, do you have any tips for auditioning for different roles? Because I was at that Star Wars thing on Friday, and it was a bunch of load of BS. I'm not even going to get into that one. It was a letdown. It's so
For
stupid.
auditioning.
Yeah,
I mean, besides being really prepared,
right.
make sure I know my lines and all that stuff. I don't know. I've been at it a while. I've seen actors go into audition rooms without their script, which I think is suicide. I think that's a crazy thing to do. They just feel overconfident, I guess. There's a tendency of forgetting what you're supposed to say, and that's what the script is for. And I've also heard a really interesting school of thought about that. If you have your script with you, it's sort of saying, this isn't even the best I can do. If you don't have it with you, it's just sort of, you know what I'm saying? Like if you've got the script with you, your performance is still a work in progress.
Right.
And that can be even more impressive to the producers, wow, she's not even off book and she's perfect for this.
Well, my biggest problem is I have a really good photographic memory. So once I read something, it's stuck in there.
That's good,
And
though.
I can go back into it, but and if I
good.
do forget like maybe one or two different words, I'll word it differently to more how the character would say it. Because if it's an elliptical role, you're just supposed to, go through it and kind of add a little bit characteristic. But usually what I do is I switch like one word on accident because I don't think that character would say that word.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's another, it's an argument with writers, right? Because a lot of writers are very precious about their work. They don't want you changing a thing. But it all depends on the writer. A lot of writers go, oh, no, please, improv and have some fun with it. But, for the most, I usually try to just stick to the words, just in case. You never know, right?
All right.
Thank you.
Hold on one sec. I want everyone who's in line to look behind you real quick. You want to be courteous to that person right behind you. Let's ask our question. Let's be succinct. And remember that a lot of other people want to ask questions too.
I also will get faster at answering.
Thank you for being here. My father wanted to ask, and he unfortunately couldn't be here today, but he wanted to know what character you had the easiest time getting into, and then which was the most fun, if that was a different character.
I mean, Kaylee was really easy just because of the other actors I was working with and the writing, like I said. It's always fun to play an evil person or someone who's just awful. I did a show called the LA Complex that, no one saw. But I was very, very proud of it, and that character was by far the most fun character I've ever played. She's an actress, and she's struggling to get her next job, and she's just ruthless about it. And she can be really nasty, and she just says whatever's on her mind, and she's hilarious. And she's always in, a pencil skirt, overdressed. She just thinks she's, this grand movie star, and she's not anymore. So she was super fun for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think it's on Netflix now or something, or maybe it will
LA
be soon.
Complex?
The LA Complex, yeah. It's a great show, and we were so sad that no one watched it because we were all so passionate about it.
Hi. Sorry. It's my
That's
first
okay.
Comic-Con. I met you yesterday.
What's that, honey?
It's my first Comic-Con. I met you yesterday.
Your first one.
Yeah.
Okay,
And-
we will be gentle with you.
She will. I just like you because you have a bow tie.
Well, bow ties are cool. First of all, how is it wearing that really awesome, wonderful, poofy dress?
Oh, the
that I loved,
dress.
adored the dress, and segues right into my next question, the Captain Tight Pants line. I adore that line.
I love that line too. So the dress was a nightmare. It was so uncomfortable. It was hell to pee in. I'm serious. It was a lot going on there. So I was over it within 2 days. I was like, I cannot wait to burn this dress. And a little story about the tight pants. On, I think, my first or second day of work, we shot that scene where I get shot in the belly. and everyone comes rushing over and bends over me to help me. And Nathan bent over and split his pants all the way up the neck. And he was like, I just split my pants. So he really was Captain Tight Pants.
Thank you.
Thank you, honey.
Hey,
Wow.
so I've also lost my voice today. So if you haven't seen Angel or Buffy, you might want to plug your ears or like hum to yourself, because I'm gonna like say a spoiler here that you might not want to hear. So in Buffy/Angel, Spike dies, but he is then brought back in Angel. And I was wondering, if Firefly is ever brought back, could Wash possibly also be brought back?
Why not? Why not? Maybe he has like an evil twin or something. Because I know for a fact Alan would love to play his own evil twin. I know that for a fact.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Did you get to pick out the patches on your outfit?
I didn't get to pick them. No, we had this wonderful wardrobe lady. Her name was Shauna Trupchik, and I love her so much. And she designed everything. She made everything by hand. And she's just phenomenal. Very, very talented. But she came up with the whole concept. It was already there waiting for me. All I had to do was jump into it. Jump into my jumpsuit.
Hi. I was just curious, for an upcoming role or something like that, would you prefer to be in a movie franchise or another long-running TV series?
Well, I really like doing TV. I mean, for me, it's because you have all of this time to flesh out a character, and you get to know the crew so well and the cast so well. It really does become a home, you know? You have your office to go to every day. And for an actor, that's a really nice thing. It's a nice thing to have some regularity in your life, and have your trailer and unpack all your stuff in it, and, you know, just have that job security too. So I would say TV for me.
All right, thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
So first of all, I just want to say my name's Kaylee. So
Oh, awesome.
I think that's awesome. But the question I wanted to ask was, do you have a favorite scene or episode that you did when filming Firefly?
My favorite episode, well, it's a tie between Out of Gas and Objects in Space. Although I feel very strongly that Janestown is underrated. I think that is a great episode, and it makes me laugh every time I watch it. Alan Tudyk drunk is one of the funniest things I have ever seen. When he gets back to the ship and he's just so hammered. I love that scene so much. One of my favorite scenes to shoot, funny enough, was in The Message. Even though we were all really sad because we just got canceled, we shot a sequence in a bazaar. And we were, I don't know, I guess we all just didn't really give a shit anymore about being professional. So we were like, I don't know, someone got somebody laughing, and we were laughing hysterically and just being so bad and so unprofessional and fooling around. And I remember that day being really, really fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kind of a nothing left to lose kind of.
Yeah, it's sort of just like, well, you know what? Let's just enjoy this and have a good time, you know, go out laughing at least.
Hi.
Hi.
I could sit here and tell you how much I love Kaylee as a character and how great she was for me, but I think everyone kind of hit that on the nail. But downstairs, there's actually a print of Wash, and he's holding Joss Whedon and Fox, like a little Fox logo.
Oh, God.
And it says, "Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal."
I love that. That's great.
And I feel like that, I should have brought it to you, but
I love that.
I feel like that's something you should know about. Since you said you talked to
That's
Alan,
really
but
funny.
I know recently you did Supernatural, and I know that they're known for being a little out there and crazy on set. Was there anything that Jared and Jensen did that you were just like, oh, these people?
I mean, Jensen he's not as crazy and out there as Jared for sure. He's so sweet and very gentle and quiet and calm, and he directed my episode. And he's a fabulous director. He knew exactly what he was doing. Everything was on time every day. He wrapped me out early so I could catch a flight to go and shoot another project. Like, he was just so kind to me. And Jared's just a knucklehead. Like, he just loves to joke around. And, you know, we'd be doing a serious scene, and the cameraman would be right here, and they'd be shooting my close-up, and he'd be, you know, to the left of the camera for my eye line. And I spin around, and then he's got, like, this, like, fake knife, and he's poking it into the cameraman's ear, like, trying to throw me off. But they were so sweet and kind. I just wish they were better looking. Really. It's just sad. It must be tough going through life looking like they do. My friend Cindy, she hates when I tell this story, but I don't care. She's an actress as well. And I had my wardrobe fitting for Supernatural, and Jensen's an old friend of mine. He used to date someone I know, and he came down to my wardrobe fitting to say hello to me, and I'd brought Cindy with me. And Cindy's so obsessed with Jensen, it's scary. Like, she's obsessed like I am with Channing Tatum, like Shalane is with Paul Walker. Like, every girl has that one guy, right, where you're just like, ah, and that's the guy for her. So he comes down, and I'm like, oh, this is my friend Cindy. And Cindy's very gregarious. She's a very confident girl. You know, she's the life of the party for sure. But she just lost her mind. Like, she didn't know how to talk anymore. She didn't know what to say to him. And I was like, this is what she sounded like. I was like, Cindy, this is Jensen. And she said, hello, I'm Cindy. And he was like, hi, nice to meet you. And then he left, and she was like, what happened to me? And I was like, I don't know, dude. She was like, did you hear me? So for like weeks, we'd go, hello, I'm Cindy. It was amazing. And then she booked her own guest star on Supernatural 2 weeks later, and she had to go back and work with him. And she was like, but he was really sweet to her, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you. She hates when I tell that. She gets so mad at me.
No one will put that on YouTube or anything.
I think it's already on YouTube. She was like, I'm going to kill you.
So hi, as you may or may not remember from yesterday, you're actually my honeymoon. My
Yes, you're the
husband and I
honeymoon
just got
girl.
married.
Hello.
And we got home yesterday, and we're like, I wonder how weird it is for her to hear stuff like that. Like, hey, you're our honeymoon.
Whoa.
I kind of like it.
So I guess my question is, like, what is the most, like, out there, like, experience, like, just from going in? Because, I mean, you're just a normal person, but then people,
I am
like,
a normal person.
people do like their honeymoon. So what's, like, the most, like, out there experience of, like, all of this?
There's been a lot. I mean, oh man. You wouldn't believe it, guys. Sometimes I just want you to be able to sit with me. Just for the day. Just to see what it's like. You wouldn't believe it. Like, some people are just so hilarious. But, you know, everyone's a nerd about something, right? Like, I'm a nerd about chefs. Celebrity chefs. I'm a huge foodie. So when I meet a chef I adore and admire, I lose the plan. I can't talk. I met Wiley Dufresne in New York, and my friend was like, Jewel, this is Wiley. Wiley, this is Jewel. And he said, hello, and I didn't speak. I went like this. So we all, you know, we're all nerds about something. I met Matthew Fox and was a complete idiot because I was a huge Lost fan. Like, you know, everyone's got their something. So I get it. I understand it. Having said that, there have been some goodies, guys. My favorite, I was in an elevator at Dragon Con, and this guy in the elevator, it was a packed elevator, and he said, has anybody ever told you look like Jewel Staite? And the people I was with laughed their heads off, and I laughed, and then he said, no, it's a compliment. So that killed me. I mean, that stuff just makes me laugh. But I think the most amazing stuff, I've been a part of proposals. Someone has come up to me and said, I want to propose to my girlfriend, and will you write on the picture, will you marry me? So, you know, he brings her up, and I write on the picture, and she goes, why'd you write that? And then he's like, gives her the ring. I love that stuff. So it's nice, you know, it's nice to be a part of people's lives. But I mean, I am really just normal, guys. Like, I vacuum my apartment, and I cook my friends' food, and I walk my own dog. You know, I have a very normal life, and my friends get such a kick out of it when we come to these things because they're like, these people think you're special. It's so funny. Thank you.
Our friends over here going, yeah.
Yeah. Poor Shalane.
What's the big deal?
Shalane's an actress as well. You guys watch Wonder Falls? Yeah. Do you remember Gretchen Speck Horowitz? So that's Shalane. And Shalane did the LA Complex with me as well. She's done like a million things. Final Destination, I could go on and on. She's been acting since she was like 5 or 3 or something. But yeah, my friends think this stuff is hilarious. And I always bring a friend because it's fun. It's, you know, when you're in a new city, the best part about these conventions, I've always said, you get to travel the world. I mean, who knew going into that audition for Firefly 10 years ago that I would be able to see the world? It's really amazing. We've been to Australia, and you know, I just took my friend Jenny to London and Paris. I mean, it's amazing. So yeah, it's super fun, and they know my convention schedule for the year, and they like call cities. They're like, "Who's going with you to Paris?" I am. That's who. And they're like, "No, Shalane went to Australia last time. I'm going to Australia this time." Are you going to Ottawa? Okay, my family lives in Montreal, so I want to take the Ottawa one so my family can go. I'm like, you guys.
They're
But it's
divvying you
super
up.
fun. They are, but I love it. It's really fun.
In that similar vein, I'm glad I was at the very end of the line so I could compose myself before talking to you. But yeah, I love the character of Kaylee. I love the show. I love like the fact that people say that I'm kind of like Kaylee with a little bit of Mal and Zoe mixed in, which is kind of weird.
Wow.
But and I actually haven't finished the entire series because I'm afraid of things ending.
Oh, really? Oh,
So the
wow.
last episode I've been holding on to for like a long time because I'm like,
Watch it on slow-mo.
and you just seem like the sweetest person. You know,
Oh,
I'd love to be your
thanks.
friend in real life, but you know, long shot. Anyways, we all would. But I wanted to ask you, actually, some of my favorite parts of the show is the stuff that's not actually in the show. It's the blooper reels.
Oh, yeah.
And my personal favorite is the one where you guys are all like hovering over the coffin of that guy.
Oh, my God.
And Nathan's just like popping up
Oh,
in
my
between
God.
everybody.
It was so brilliant. That's a really good one.
So I was wondering, what was your favorite? Just
Oh, my God. I just got scared.
Security.
cliffhanger.
Yeah. Da-da-da.
What was your favorite, just random, crazy, silly moment on set?
Oh, gosh. My favorite silly moment. This is so weird and intimate now. Does anybody? Oh, my God.
It's a club. Douche,
Thank
douche,
you.
douche.
Everybody dance now. There were a lot. I mean, Nathan just kills me. He makes me laugh all the time.
I'm surprised you guys
I was
could
at his
keep
house,
composure.
a couple weekends ago, and he enters a room dressed like an Eskimo just for a laugh. You know what I mean? He's such a goof. But yeah, there were lots of moments. I don't know. We were always laughing our heads off, and it usually had to do with him. He and I had this weird feud where we were trying to figure out ways to give each other the middle finger, and it went on for years. It got really competitive and weird. But yeah, he was hilarious. He was always making me laugh.
So there's no one specific moment that you can think of?
I
right
can't
now?
think of anything now. I mean, all the good ones made it to the blooper reel. You've seen them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hey. So if you'll forgive a very, very predictable nerd pop culture mashup question, do you follow Doctor Who?
No.
Oh.
Sorry.
This doesn't really apply then.
Oh, okay. Do you have another question?
Nothing good that I can come up with on the spot. I'll just yield the
Sorry about that. Sorry, honey.
That was the best lead up I could have gotten.
Hello.
So first of all, thank you for doing this, even with your throat being screwed up. 'cause
Well,
that
you're
sucks.
welcome. My pleasure.
Are you going to be on Castle? It seems like
I
Nathan.
don't know.
Yeah, because Nathan Fillion seems to bring in,
He
people. I would
does.
love to see you
I
on.
mean, the only glitch with me is that I live in Canada.
Okay.
So it's a little tougher to have me on a guest spot. They have to fly me out and put me up and all that jazz, which they don't really love to do for guest stars. But
Sure.
never say never. I definitely have told him many, many, many times
Yeah.
that I would love to. But Alan has a project up his sleeve that he wants some of us to do. So that
Very
might be a possibility. It's a great idea. I don't want to blow the whistle for him, but
Right.
it's hilarious.
Quick follow-up. Would you be the person who would kill, you would be the
Yeah.
murderer? Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. I would definitely want to play the bad guy. Sean Marr and I, we always want to go in as a pair. Like we're like we want to be like this weird like Frank and Edie sort of like guest star pair like we did on Warehouse 13. Where like if you hire me, you have to hire him and vice versa. So I think we'd be like a really great murdering duo.
Nice. You're so sweet. It would be nice to see you as a bloodthirsty killer. So
Yeah, I would love
It
that.
only makes sense.
You gotta watch the LA Complex because that's
I'm
pretty
going to now,
bloodthirsty.
yeah. All right.
She's a nasty piece of work.
Thank you.
And unfortunately, this is going to be the last question. Last
You
question.
better make it good, brother.
Okay.
No pressure at all.
Yeah, exactly. No pressure there at all. When you were actually going into your first role, or I guess first reading for Kaylee and Firefly, they used, you spoke Chinese in a lot of the episodes, which was awesome, by the way, made it unique. Did you actually have to go into that interview knowing, like, I guess, reading the script, or be able to, did you actually have to learn Chinese, or did you actually just
No. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? Also, for this audition, you'll be speaking Mandarin. I'd kill myself. No, my audition scene, I had 2 scenes in my audition, I remember very clearly. The first one was when Kaylee is sitting outside the ship and Book is walking by. And she says, "You're going to come with us." It was that scene. And then the second scene was in the infirmary when I'm all drugged up. And Mal is standing over me. And I say, "You're so nice. You're always looking after us." And he says, "No, I'm not. I'm a mean old man." It was that scene. Yeah. I remember very well. And Alan was at my audition. And Adam was there as well. Yeah. And now look at us. You guys, what's that?
You still do a food blog?
Yeah, I do.
So I think y'all should really, your homework for this evening
Yeah.
is to
it's
check
called
out her.
Happy Opu. OPU. It means tummy in Hawaiian. I spent a lot of years in Maui when I was a kid. My grandparents lived there. So yeah, happyopu.net. And I write about everything I love, which is food and wine. All the important stuff in life, exactly. You guys are so nice, and you've been so sweet to me down there, and I appreciate it very much. And even though I sound like this, I'm very happy to be here, and I hope I get invited back.
Thank you for coming, everybody. Round of applause.